Hi guys, this is a bit of a special one today, not just because it's submissions to our Discord, but because they're all
voice acted. Not by me, by members of the Discord server. I'll not keep you too long at the start, but if you make it to the end, I'll tell you all about it.
My party. Me, a dragonborn druid, my friend, playing a female half-elf wizard who loved to seduce people, and my other friend, playing a Goliath barbarian, was trying to find a tavern where they thought a next hint to finding a missing person would be. Now, to add some background, my character has a fairly high charisma, so my excuse was that my hermit-like dragonborn boy just unearthed a book called 50 Scales of Grey. We entered a strange shop where an 80-year-old gnome who was mostly bald with eyes all over his head was showing us trinkets. Our wizard used hypnotic gaze on him because the items were too expensive and we obviously resorted to stealing. She held him in place while the Goliath and I raided the back of the shop. The door was locked, so the barbarian rolled a 19 and toppled the door. We found some items but also a magic safe, so I froze the outline so it would be easier to shatter for the Goliath. He rolled high and punched right through, taking minor recoil. Suddenly the gnome snaps out of the spell. He made a save. In a desperate attempt to buy us time, the wizard kisses the gnome. The gnome is confused, so she kisses him again, and he slaps her. I'm shouting at my friend across the table, who has a charisma 18, and a male playing a sexy wizard, might I add, for him to keep seducing him. She eventually manages to seduce him and rolls high, so he immediately closes the shop and takes her to dinner. We steal the rest of the items just as the gnome starts taking her back to his house. The house is huge, and our DM, bless him, reveals to us that the gnome's name is Skank McGank, who wrote the best-selling book, 50 Scales of Grey. I double over laughing as the wizard gets his character taken into this man's sex dungeon. I come up with a plan to disguise myself as a female, and I approach the bouncer at the bar and seduce him to get to Skank's house. I roll a 19 and he escorts me there and tells me the password. 50 scales, only for males. My Goliath friend decides to trail me from a safe distance, and I mouth the words to him and he understands. I enter the house and make my way down the stairs. Meanwhile, my wizard friend tried to buy time, so he lathered Skank up with champagne. My friend, who started to get creeped out, tried to leave. Skank tore off the couch cover and wrapped the wizard in it, using magic. She managed to seduce her way out of it by giving in and saying she needed to get ready. Being the charmer that she is, she rolled a 19. I played 2 games a week, one 5e, one 3.5. This story comes from our current campaign in 3.5. In our party, we have a half-giant Spartan fighter, half-giant barbarian, human cleric, tiefling sorcerer, halfling rogue, half-elf rogue, and Aasimar druid, me. This particular session, we had a temporary player in too, a human paladin. We were on our way from the metropolitan city we were from to this world's version of the Shire. We were passing through a thick forest when we started to see holes and cracks in the roads. We made checks. No one rolls above an 8. The only thing we have to go on is survival. We follow these huge tracks and rip apart carts until we see a horse. Our sorcerer takes him. His name is Blueberry now. We keep heading down the path until we see a man trapped under a cart. Our group is dumb. Not so dumb that we don't see this as a trap. The good aligned members of the party, myself and 2 others, wrestle with the idea to humor the DM and save the man. Make a listen check. Horned friend hears heavy breathing from behind the trees. Giants. 3 of them. We roll initiative and don't do terrible. I entangle the female giant on our right. The other 2 throw rocks. Our half-giants charge in. Paladin knocks one over. We knock another over. Crit the other. DM sweats. We kill them in a flurry of magic missile and steel. Except one. We leave her alive to get info. Paladin reverse heals her to death. I play my first campaign every Friday, Saturday night with my friends from my Discord server all over the world. I play as a female tiefling cleric who follows Shanto, the goddess of agriculture, not important to the story, and she is named Octa Creed Anakis. To the story. We entered a bandit's hideout to defeat the bandit group inside, underneath an old mansion. As we explore the first room, we find some gold at the bottom of a pool in the room, but the noise alerts 2 ruffians that were in the next door room, which pummel our fiend warlock pretty hard. Luckily, our warlock, also female, had some incredible luck with the hit die rolls and has the most HP in the group, more than the 2 tanks, me and our paladin. I decided to pin down one of the ruffians so that the others could focus on the other one. Soldier background granted me proficiency in athletics, needed to pin him down. I managed to pin the ruffian to the floor. Also, we were a level group at this point, due to one of our DMs, they switched around if needed, brain farting hard and not getting how the EXP system works. First campaign for him too, he plays the paladin. As soon as this ruffian rolls his saving throws, we both crit fail, but since I have the better bonuses, he remained pinned down. But he managed to grope my character's butt, which Octa did not appreciate at all, to which she beat him unconscious with her mace on her next turn, and that's how my cleric became a tsundere. Well, who wants to get their butt grabbed by a stranger anyways? So here's a story that's a bit different for what you expect. Some backstory: me and my college friends played D&D 1st edition with homebrew story path we've prepared. We are made an Angel Beats theme game where our characters must have their own end goal and get to be reincarnated. I am a half-elf cleric that died in battle saving his comrades. Then he's sent in a plane of purgatory where he have to find a way to get out of purgatory or become a ruler of this plane. The main players of this campaign story: the cleric, Jaeger, me, the rogue, the bard, barbarian, sorcerer. So on the first session is where all the players gather and meet me for the first time. 6 or so players at the time have gathered and had a random generated name. But the rogue was randomly started to dragging his feet against the dirt to draw a penis. The rogue player rolled for charisma for how well the drawing, nat 20. So the rogue just draw the most beautiful and most detailed dick drawing in the whole plane of purgatory. It's well praised from the citizens so much that it molded the dick in making a statue fountain and changed the name to Coxton, edited. Needless to say, we made that city our base of operations. A story from 1 month ago when I DM'd my 4th edition campaign that I turned to 5th edition. The characters were heading to the final dungeon to stop a portal to the Shadow Realm from opening. The first floor was cleared after 2 sessions, and weakened them nicely. They rushed through the second floor, only going through one room and then heading to the final boss room. The characters entered the room, seeing that the portal had already begun opening and the room was full of skeletons and vampire spawn. After they cleared the room of the boss's minions, they headed for the main boss. The gnome paladin was grappled off his horse and thrown through the portal by the boss. The boss fell through the floor, no longer breathing. The gnome paladin was thrown into the Storm King's Thunder, which my death is, and was running. The gnome met up with the party and joined them. I was playing a Pathfinder Society 3-part adventure. It's similar to Adventurers League. We were playing first-level characters that had been traveling by boat along a river to rejuvenate a long-lost artifact. All our stops were either easy combats with wildlife and the occasional rest stop. We came out onto a lake, our destination in sight, when we see a ship bearing a nearby country's flag bearing down on us quick. We ready ourselves to be boarded and quickly realize we are way out-muscled. The enemy caster knocked out 2 of the party members and monks grappled and killed the rest of the party in seconds. First level TPK with little to no resistance. How my friend burned stone and got banned from playing a gold dragonborn. I was playing in a homebrew campaign where we were all playing first level characters. There was me, an elf wizard, my friend, a gold dragonborn wizard, and a couple of others. We started out like all campaigns do, in a tavern, in a town, with a monastery on a hill overlooking the town. Fast forward a couple of sessions and we go into the monastery. Keep in mind that my friend who was playing the dragonborn hated religion. In the monastery we see many religious items. My elf wizard sees the dragonborn start to get angry. I lead him down a dark stone passage into what we found out later was a library. I asked him what's wrong, and he says, "Too much religion. Must burn." I point out that we were surrounded in stone. He says IRL, "Your point?" He rolled a nat 20. DM when he sees this says, "You defy all known laws of physics, and as you breathe fire, the stone starts to burn, not melt." At this point the entire party is staring at him. The DM tells us to roll a dex save to jump out of a 2-story window to escape the fire. The rest of the party gets out, then it's just me and him in the monastery. I ask the DM why he didn't let me jump. DM says, "Roll for perception." Nat 20. "You see a door right in front of you." I say IRL, "Oh." We all make it out and the campaign ends because apparently the monk in charge of the monastery was supposed to be the BBEG. My friend says, "Oops, DM. You are no longer allowed to play a gold dragonborn in my campaigns ever again." We were on the 3rd session. A kind of sad story for when I first became a DM. My party were all level 2s or so when they had to pass through a goblin camp that led through the mountains. They murdered the scouts except for one that pleaded for his life. They talked to the goblin and learned his name was Diaku. The party asked Diaku if he could lead them safely through the camp. Diaku didn't want to work with them as the party just murdered his brother, another one of the goblin scouts. The tiefling wizard in the group talked to him and they had convinced him that if the goblin helped them that he'd bring his brother back to life, which he obviously couldn't do at level 2. Diaku happily worked with them through the mountains after that, excited to see his brother again. My party actually grew to like the goblin, but didn't know how to tell him that it was impossible for them to bring his brother back. Through arguments in the party, it was decided they'd kill Diaku after his use. The plan was for the wizard to use minor illusion of the goblin's brother to appear, make Diaku think he was alive, and then kill him quickly before he realized it was an illusion, so that he could die happier or something. But of course, things don't always go to plan. After they made it through the mountains, the wizard had to deliver on his promise. An illusion of Diaku's brother appeared. Diaku happily ran to give him a hug, but passed right through the illusion. Diaku looked at his brother upset and confused. The fighter swung his sword at the goblin, but actually missed. The goblin, terrified, tried to grab his brother's hand and pull him to safety, but didn't understand why it wasn't working. An arrow passed through the illusion's head and into Diaku, instantly killing him. The ranger had shot him. The party then mourned Diaku, as they had betrayed him even though he never wronged them. They didn't feel like heroes that day. Rip Diaku.
Okay guys, thanks for watching. I'll not keep you too long here at the end. These are just a random selection of Discord submissions. I wasn't planning to maybe get anybody in to do the voice. It's really just a tester to see what people think. So if you like it, leave a wee comment. If you don't like it, leave a wee comment. Hit the thumbs up, that always helps, and subscribe if you haven't already. And before I go, a big thanks to G and the Elf, the Rad. I don't even know how to pronounce that. It's a bit of a tongue twister, that one. Big thanks to him. He was the one who done the reading this time. I'm going to ask him, does he want to leave his email address or profile or anything in the description? So and I believe, well, he's trying to get into doing a wee bit of voiceover himself. So if you like his voice and you want to do some business with him, I'll check if it's okay to leave his details. Cheers. Thanks again.